All right, Mediterranean gardens. Let's dive in. You've been sending me a ton of stuff, articles, notes. I mean, from the history to plant lists and even like water conservation techniques.
Wow.
Yeah, you're going all in on this.
Yeah.
What I'm getting is you want to know like more than just the plants, right?
Right.
You want the whole vibe, like why these gardens work and how they work and maybe how to get that look yourself.
You got it.
Okay, well, I think starting with the why is actually smart.
It is, definitely.
Because when I look at these pictures you sent, courtyards and all that, I think romantic, not strategic.
Well, and that's what's so cool about Mediterranean gardens.
Okay.
It's not just an aesthetic. It's a response to like a very specific environment.
Okay, explain that to me.
So you think about like the classic Mediterranean climate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have like scorching summers, mild winters, and you don't get much rain.
Yeah, that's true.
So every element, like from the materials they use to the plants, it evolved to work with those conditions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like take Roman villas, for example.
Okay.
They would have shaded courtyards.
Yeah, I see those.
And it wasn't just like for beauty.
Right.
It was to escape like that intense midday sun.
Makes sense.
Or Moorish gardens in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
they would use like intricate tile work and water features and stuff to cool the air down.
So it's like beautiful and practical at the same time.
Yeah, it's a beautiful puzzle.
Yeah, I love that.
Where everything has a purpose.
But it's like there's still a vibe, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
beyond the function, there's a feeling to it.
Yeah.
So what would you say like really defines that authentic Mediterranean garden feeling?
Imagine like you're on the patio,
Mm-hmm.
like a long, slow dinner, right?
Yeah.
And you're surrounded by like the smell of herbs,
Yeah.
rosemary, lavender, stuff like that. Maybe you hear like a little fountain in the background.
Mhm.
That feeling of being in nature, but still like you're comfortable, you're relaxed, you're enjoying yourself. That's kind of the heart of it.
I'm relaxed just thinking about it.
Yeah, right.
So how do you get that? How do you create that?
Well, we've got to talk about hardscaping.
Okay.
Because hardscaping in a Mediterranean garden isn't just like decoration. It's like the foundation.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So I noticed in the pictures you sent,
Mhm.
lots of terracotta, stone, gravel.
Yeah, all those warm textures. It's like instantly Mediterranean, right?
Totally. And they're actually like super smart choices for the climate.
Okay.
Take terracotta, for example.
Yeah.
It's porous, so it's like it absorbs heat during the day
Mm.
and then releases it slowly at night, so it helps moderate the temperature swings.
It's like built-in climate control.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. What about stone and gravel?
Oh, they've got their jobs too.
I figured.
Yeah, stone, especially if it's a lighter color, reflects sunlight, right?
Okay.
So it helps keep things cooler.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And gravel, well, gravel is crucial for drainage.
Okay.
Remember we were talking about how these regions, they don't get a ton of rain,
Right.
but when it does rain, you want that water to drain away quickly.
Yeah, so you don't get like soggy plants and stuff,
Right, exactly.
root rot, all that.
Yeah, so gravel helps with that.
Wow, so it's like every material has a purpose, both like visually and like functionally.
Yeah, it's like form and function all rolled into one.
Okay, that's amazing. Now we got to talk about the plants.
Of course.
Like that's what everyone thinks of first, right?
Yeah.
But especially, you seem really into the herbs.
Yeah.
Like rosemary, lavender, thyme, all those really fragrant, like classic Mediterranean staples.
And there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah.
They love hot, dry conditions.
Mhm.
So they're perfect if you don't want to be out there watering all the time.
Low maintenance, I like that.
And plus, can you imagine just walking out into your garden
Yeah.
and being hit with that like wall of scent?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then, like, you're cooking, you
Yeah.
just go out and, like, snip some fresh herbs.
Right there.
Yeah, it's like the ideal, right?
It's the dream.
But, okay, here's my question.
Yeah.
Can you pull this off if you don't live in the Mediterranean?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I'm looking at these pictures, right?
Yeah.
I see olive trees, bougainvillea, and that does not grow where I live.
Right, but you know what's interesting?
What?
Microclimates.
Yeah.
So even if like your overall climate isn't Mediterranean,
Yeah.
you probably have like little pockets in your yard that are,
Okay.
so like maybe you have a spot that's like sheltered against a south-facing wall,
Yeah.
gets a ton of sun. That could be your little Mediterranean zone.
So I got to be like a microclimate detective in my yard.
Exactly. You got to find those little hot spots.
But, okay, even if I find the perfect spot,
Mm-hmm.
the plants, right?
Yeah.
I can't grow an olive tree?
No, you probably can't.
So what do I do?
So that's where you have to get a little creative and do some research.
Okay.
You want to look for plants that are native to your area, but that have similar characteristics to Mediterranean plants.
Okay, what does that mean?
So you want plants that are drought tolerant, they love sun, they can handle those dry conditions.
So it's not about, like, replicating the exact plants.
Right.
It's about, like, the idea.
Exactly. It's about capturing the essence,
Yeah.
the feeling, the function.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
So you're saying I can have a little bit of the Mediterranean, even if I don't live there?
absolutely. You can bring that vibe to your own backyard.
I love that, but it's like, it's more than just throwing some plants together.
Right.
There's a design element to it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So where do you even begin?
We have to talk about layout
Okay.
because that's really how you create like a space that feels like a Mediterranean garden.
I'm ready. Tell me everything.
It's all about creating zones,
Yeah.
right? And using hardscaping and planting to like guide people through the space.
So it's not just like, I put a patio set out and call it a day.
Right. It's more than that.
Okay.
Think of it like designing rooms, but outside.
Okay, I like that.
So you might have like your dining area, maybe a lounge space for like relaxing, reading a book,
Yeah.
and then pathways that connect those areas.
Oh, right.
And all of that framed by beautiful planting.
Okay.
So it's like as you move through the garden,
Yeah.
you're on a little journey. You're discovering different things.
I like that, a journey. Yeah.
It's about creating that sense of exploration.
Okay, so we've got hardscaping, we've got plants, now we're talking zones, flow, like what else do we need to think about?
Well, layering is key.
Layering.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more.
You want to create like visual interest
Yeah, okay.
and mimic the natural landscape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. Like you have tall elements,
Okay.
like cypress trees or palms giving you shade, structure, like the bones of the garden.
Oh, okay, so that's like the height.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have mid-level shrubs, right?
Okay.
Like lavender, rosemary, oleander, adding those pops of color and fragrance.
And then I'm guessing the ground level is where like the texture comes in.
You got it.
Yeah.
Things like creeping thyme, succulents, or even just gravel.
Okay.
They soften the edges, create contrast, and like help keep moisture in the ground.
Okay, I see. So it's like building up these layers.
Yeah, it's like a tapestry.
Yeah, I like that.
You're weaving all these different elements together.
But you mentioned open space before.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
It's funny, right?
What?
You'd think you want to cram in as many plants as possible.
I know, yeah, more is better, right?
Yeah, but actually, those open spaces,
Okay.
whether it's like a gravel patio
Mm.
or a paved walkway or just, some open ground,
Yeah.
they actually make the plants look better.
Okay.
They give them room to breathe, and they create a sense of tranquility.
So it's like, it's not about abundance, it's about
It's about balance.
balance. Okay.
Yeah, it's about being thoughtful about where you put things
Okay.
and making sure everything has room to shine.
I like that.
And that brings us to another classic element of Mediterranean gardens,
What's that?
water features.
Oh, yes.
Those photos you sent, I mean,
I was mesmerized.
bubbling fountains, reflecting pools, even just like a simple terracotta pot overflowing with water.
Yeah.
It's magical.
But isn't water like a precious resource in the Mediterranean? So how does that work?
Well, that's why water features in these gardens are often like really carefully designed.
Okay.
They might be small or they use recirculating systems.
So they're not like wasting water.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it goes beyond that.
What do you mean?
Like the sound of water.
Yeah,
It's so calming.
it is.
It blocks out other noises. It creates a sense of coolness.
So it's like tricking your brain into thinking it's cooler,
A little bit, yeah.
even if it's like 100 degrees out.
All right, it's like a mental escape.
Okay, I love that. So we've got the visuals, we've got the sound. What about color?
Oh, color is huge in Mediterranean gardens.
Yeah, those pictures were a riot of color.
They embrace that vibrancy.
Yeah, terracotta, blue accents, that bougainvillea.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this is not a style for people who are afraid of color.
No, it's all about embracing those bold hues.
What are some of your favorite color combinations?
Well, one classic is blue and white.
Okay.
Think Greek islands, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whitewashed walls, blue accents, pops of blue from like agapanthus or plumbago.
Okay.
Then you have the warm terracotta tones paired with like vibrant yellows and oranges.
Like a Spanish countryside vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Terracotta pots overflowing with sunflowers, marigolds. It's like sunshine in plant form.
I I love that. So it's like each color palette is like transporting you to a different part of the Mediterranean.
Yeah, it's like a little mini vacation.
But we can't forget about texture, right?
Texture is crucial.
Yeah, because those pictures had everything, like rough stone walls, smooth tiles, soft foliage, spiky agave plants.
It's all about that sensory richness.
Yeah.
And it serves a purpose, too.
Okay, how so?
Well, those rough surfaces, like the stone walls, they diffuse sunlight, right?
So they create shade.
Yeah, and then the smoother surfaces, like the tiles, they reflect heat away.
So it's like it's all working together.
Yeah, it's like a perfectly balanced ecosystem.
Yeah, where everything has a role to play.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
It really is.
But let's be realistic for a second.
Okay.
I'm sure people ask you this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Can you really have a Mediterranean garden if you don't actually live in the Mediterranean?
You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
This style is really adaptable.
Okay.
It's about capturing the spirit, not replicating it exactly.
So for those listeners out there who don't have olive trees growing in their backyard,
Right.
there's still hope.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Remember those microclimates we talked about? You can create those conditions even in cooler climates.
Okay.
And by focusing on drought-tolerant plants, you can get a really similar look and feel.
So it's about working with what you've got.
Yeah, it's about adaptation.
Adaptation. Right?
Taking those principles and making them work for you.
I love that.
And sometimes that's where the most creative solutions come from.
Yeah, you got to work with what you've got.
Exactly.
Are there like any other tips for adapting it to different regions?
Yeah, definitely.
Like what about, I don't know, someone in like the Pacific Northwest?
Okay, yeah, good example.
Yeah, they get way more rain.
Way more rain, yeah.
Than like a typical Mediterranean climate.
So in that case,
Yeah.
you'd want to choose plants that can handle a bit more moisture.
Okay.
And you might need to pay extra attention to drainage.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Make sure your soil isn't too heavy
Right.
or like prone to getting waterlogged.
Okay, so it's not just like a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
You really gotta like understand your own situation.
Yeah, do a little research.
And then kind of tailor it to what you've got.
Exactly. It's all about that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like being a garden detective.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
gotta like figure out all the clues.
Yeah, you got to solve the puzzle.
And then, you know, create your design based on that.
And that's what makes gardening so fun.
Yeah, totally.
It's like this ongoing
With
conversation
nature.
with nature. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
It's always changing. You're always learning.
Speaking of conversations, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's so much to talk about.
We could go on for hours.
So we've talked about like the basics, right? Plants, hardscaping, layout.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like within this overall Mediterranean style, are there like different variations or substyles?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, tell me more.
There's a whole world of regional styles,
Oh, okay.
each with its own unique character and history.
So it's not just one like monolithic style.
No, not at all.
Okay, tell me more about these regional variations. Like, what are the differences?
Well, one of the most iconic is the Greek island style.
Oh, okay.
Picture whitewashed walls, pops of blue, a really simple planting palette.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Olive trees, drought-tolerant herbs, maybe a little bougainvillea for color.
I can practically hear the ocean.
Yeah, right.
It sounds so peaceful.
It's all about simplicity, serenity.
Okay, what else?
Then you have the Spanish or Moorish-influenced gardens.
Oh, hey.
Those are all about romance and drama.
Oh, interesting.
Enclosed courtyards, intricate tile work, the sound of water from a fountain.
Those tiles were amazing in the pictures.
Oh, they're stunning, yeah.
What kind of plants would you see in like a Spanish-style garden?
Lots of citrus trees.
Oh, okay.
Lemons, oranges, mandarins, filling the air with their scent.
I'd love that.
You'd also find fragrant climbers like jasmine, honeysuckle, and of course bougainvillea cascading over the walls.
Okay, so it's like lush and vibrant.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a fairy tale.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, what about Italian style?
Italian gardens are all about those rolling hills of Tuscany
Okay.
or the rugged coastline of the Italian Riviera.
I can see it.
Cypress trees, stacked stone walls, terracotta pots overflowing with rosemary and lavender.
It's like a postcard.
It really is.
Okay, I'm sold. I want to go to the Mediterranean.
Me too.
But, okay, seriously, how do you choose which style is right for you?
It really comes down to personal preference.
Okay.
What speaks to you, you know?
Yeah.
Do you like the simplicity of the Greek islands?
Mm-hmm.
The romance of the Spanish gardens? Or
Yeah.
maybe that rustic Italian charm.
Okay, so it's like picking a travel destination.
Kinda, yeah.
You got to figure out which part of the Mediterranean calls to you.
Exactly.
But what if you love elements from different styles?
Mix and match.
Can you do that?
Absolutely. There are no rules.
Okay, good.
You can borrow elements from different regions,
Okay.
create something totally unique.
So you could have like the whitewashed walls of Greece
Yeah.
with the colorful tiles of Spain, or the
Right,
cypress
right.
trees of Italy with the fragrant climbers of like a Moorish garden.
It's all about making it your own.
Okay, I love that. So it's like, it's personal.
It should be.
It reflects your own style.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about these gardens being eco-friendly,
Yeah.
because I gotta admit, when I think of all that stone and tile,
Yeah.
I don't think sustainable.
I know, it seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, so explain that to me. How can a Mediterranean garden be good for the environment?
It's all about the plants,
Okay.
drought-tolerant plants.
Right.
By choosing plants that are adapted to a dry climate,
Yeah.
you're using way less water.
Which is huge, especially in places where water is scarce.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's easy to get caught up in how it looks.
Right.
But the plant choices actually make a real difference.
They do. They're not just pretty faces.
Right.
They're helping the environment.
Okay, and you said something about the gravel and stuff too, right?
Yeah, those permeable surfaces.
Yeah.
They help with rainwater absorption.
Okay.
So less runoff, healthier soil.
It's like, it's a whole other dimension to this style.
It is.
It's not just about like beauty and relaxation.
Right.
It's about being in harmony with nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that connection to nature, that feeling of slowing down, appreciating the simple things.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It's like creating your own little sanctuary.
Yeah, place to escape.
Yeah, get away from the stress.
Yeah, reconnect with yourself.
Okay, I like that, and I think we all need a little bit of that, right?
I think so.
No matter where we live.
Absolutely.
Well, you've given us so much to think about,
It's been fun.
from the history to the practical tips.
It's a fascinating topic.
So, to all you listeners out there who are ready to embrace that Mediterranean lifestyle, remember, it's not about replicating a specific region. It's about understanding the principles, choosing the right plants,
For your climate.
and most importantly, having fun.
Absolutely. Gardening should be enjoyable.
Yeah, creating a space that brings you joy.
That's what it's all about.
And who knows, maybe your next garden will be inspired by the Mediterranean.
I hope so.
Keep those sources coming, and we'll keep diving deep into the world of gardens, design, and everything in between.
Until next time.
Until next time.
So it's not just one monolithic style.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Okay, tell me more about these regional variations. Like, what are the differences?
Well, one of the most iconic is like the Greek island style.
Okay.
You know, imagine like whitewashed walls, pops of vibrant blue, like on doors and shutters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a really simple planting palette,
Okay.
like olive trees and drought-tolerant herbs like oregano and thyme, and maybe a few pops of color from like bougainvillea or geraniums.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can practically hear the ocean.
right. It's that like,
It sounds so peaceful.
yeah,
Like simple and serene.
it's exactly. It's all about like simplicity, serenity, you know.
Okay, what else?
Then you have like the Spanish or Moorish influenced gardens,
Okay.
and those are like all about romance and drama.
Oh, interesting.
Think like enclosed courtyards with intricate tile work, arched doorways, the sound of water from like a central fountain or a reflecting pool.
Those tiles were amazing in the pictures.
Oh, they're stunning. Yeah.
What kind of plants would you see in like a Spanish-style garden?
You see a lot of citrus trees,
Oh,
lemons, oranges, mandarins, like fill in the air with your scent.
I love that.
You'd also find fragrant climbers like jasmine and honeysuckle, and of course like bougainvillea cascading over the walls.
Okay, so it's like lush and vibrant.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a fairy tale.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. Wait, what about Italian style? What sets that apart?
Italian gardens often evoke like those rolling hills of Tuscany
Okay.
or the rugged coastline of the Italian Riviera.
I can see it.
Think cypress trees standing tall and stately, creating like those vertical accents. So
Okay.
it's stacked stone walls kind of terracing the landscape.
Yeah.
And then terracotta pots overflowing with rosemary, lavender, and geraniums, you know, adding to that like rustic sun-drenched charm.
It's like a postcard.
It really is.
Okay, I'm sold. I want to go to the Mediterranean. But, okay, seriously. How do you choose which style is right for you?
It really comes down to personal preference.
Okay.
What speaks to you, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you like the simplicity of the Greek islands? The romance of the Spanish gardens?
Yeah.
Or maybe that rustic Italian charm.
Okay, so it's like picking a travel destination.
Kind of. Yeah,
You got to figure out which part of the Mediterranean calls to you.
exactly.
But what if you love elements from different styles?
Mix and match.
Can you do that?
Absolutely. There are no rules.
Okay.
You can borrow elements from different regions,
Yeah.
create something totally unique and like personalized.
So you could have like the whitewashed walls of Greece
Yeah.
with the colorful tiles of Spain, or the cypress trees of Italy with the fragrant climbers of like a Moorish garden.
It's all about making it your own.
Okay, I love that. So it's like, it's personal.
It should be.
It reflects your own style.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier
Mm-hmm.
about these gardens being eco-friendly.
Yeah.
Because I gotta admit, when I think of all that stone and tile,
Yeah.
I don't think it's also sustainable.
I know. It seems counterintuitive,
Nope.
right?
Yeah, so explain that to me. How can a Mediterranean garden be good for the environment?
Well, it all comes down to the plants.
Okay.
Drought-tolerant plants.
Right.
By choosing plants that are already adapted to like a dry climate,
Yeah.
you're using way less water.
Which is huge, especially in places where water is scarce.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's easy to get caught up in how it looks.
Right.
But the plant choices actually make a real difference.
They do. They're not just pretty faces. They're
Yeah.
helping the environment.
Okay, and you said something about the gravel and stuff too, right?
Yeah, those permeable surfaces.
Yeah.
They help with rainwater absorption,
Right.
so you have less runoff and healthier soil.
It's like, it's a whole other dimension to this style. It's not just about like beauty and relaxation.
Right.
It's about being in harmony with nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that connection to nature, that
Mhm.
feeling of slowing down, appreciating the simple things.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It's like creating your own little sanctuary.
Yeah. A place to escape.
Yeah, get away from the stress.
Yeah. Reconnect with yourself.
Okay, I like that. And I think we all need a little bit of that, right?
I think so.
No matter where we live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are no rules in gardening, at least not when it comes to style.
Okay, good to know. So I could have like those whitewashed walls from Greece
Yeah.
and then like throw in some of those bright colored tiles like from Spain.
Exactly. Or the cypress trees of Italy with like the fragrant climbers you see in Moorish gardens.
So many possibilities.
It's all about making it your own light.
I love that. So it's personal. It reflects your own like taste.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It should feel like you know?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
About these gardens being, eco-friendly.
Yeah, the sustainability aspect.
Because I gotta be honest, when I see all that stone, all that tile,
Mhm.
it doesn't scream eco-friendly to me.
I know, it seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, so how does that work? How can a Mediterranean garden actually be good for the environment?
Well, it all comes down to the plants, those drought-tolerant plants.
Oh, okay, yeah, we talked about that.
Because if you're choosing plants that are already adapted to a dry climate,
Right.
you're automatically using way less water.
Which is huge, especially in those areas where water is scarce.
Absolutely. So it's not just about aesthetics. Those plant choices actually have a real impact.
Makes sense. They're doing their part for the planet.
Exactly. They're more than just pretty faces.
I like that. And you also mentioned something about gravel and those other permeable surfaces.
Oh, right. They're great for rainwater absorption.
Okay, so they help with runoff, make the soil healthier.
Exactly. It all works together.
So it's like, it's not just about beauty and relaxation. It's also about like working with nature.
It's about being in harmony with your environment.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that feeling, that connection to nature, it's kind of what we all crave, right?
And so,
It's like creating your own little sanctuary, a place to escape the stress and just like slow down.
exactly. Reconnect with yourself with the simple things.
Yeah, and I think we could all use a little bit of that in our lives.
Absolutely. No matter where we live or what kind of garden we have.
Well, this has been amazing. You've given us so much to think about, from the history to the practical tips. And I just love learning about all these different styles.
It's been a pleasure sharing it with you.
So to all you listeners out there who are maybe feeling inspired to create your own little slice of the Mediterranean,
Yeah. Get out there and start designing.
remember, it's not about copying. It's about understanding the principles, choosing the right plants for your climate, and most importantly, having fun with it.
Gardening should be enjoyable. It's all about creating a space that brings you joy.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And who knows? Maybe your next garden will be inspired by the sun-drenched landscapes of the Mediterranean. Keep those sources coming, and we'll keep diving deep into the world of gardens, design, and everything in between. Until next time.